That's misevaluation, and you're paid to do it.
That's breaking news music.
Oh, we got breaking news?
Yeah, we've got breaking news because we've got somebody who was in those kind of meetings. Check it out. It is the man, Barton Simmons, in the house. Live here on youtube.com/cover3 in the flesh. And according to his nameplate there, and still the Locks champion. That's right. The man did want to go out on top. He did the walk-off to be able to win it. So Barton, first of all, as general manager of the Vanderbilt Commodores, this is an immensely stressful time. So congratulations on the completion of the early signing day. How are you doing, my friend?
I am great. Man, it's good to see you boys. Where's the rest of the Rat Pack? Fernelli and Cannell, they're too good for me. What's going on with those guys?
They definitely didn't know that you were involved, and they definitely opted out. Like they would opt out of bowl games, and they opt out of National Signing Day. Like that's the signing day coverage. Like Barton, this was you and me, Mud. Like remember, it was grab
That's
Barton
true.
when he gets done on the CBS Sports HQ set. Throw him in one of those like lockers that they have off to the side, as Bud is in right now. So you know how this signing day recap show goes.
Can I tell you that it is this side of it is actually in some ways less frenetic. Like you've got to like Bud and Will Fong and all these guys have got to like know where everyone in the country is going. I've just got to know where like the 30 guys on our board are going. And so, and 25 of those are pretty much locked in. So it's a little bit different on this side of it. Now granted, the anxiety is probably just as high because any one misstep, like the number one player in the country going to Jackson State, I guess, is can change, job security in the future. Like Bud's trying to fire the whole Florida State staff, it sounds like. But it is fun, man. This was a fun day.
The chat is loving the over Army representation. I mean, just everybody mounting up as they see their general return into the battlefield.
Yeah, you guys are under pod now, I guess, right? I mean, no?
First quarter under.
Yeah. The key was to be targeting the first half. Like you'll like this one. You go and you eliminate the risk of an undergoing bust in the second half of these games where we've got conservative coaches that are just going to do the like feel them out kind of thing. So you catch an Oregon, Utah. Oh, that's a first half under. They just want to play good defense in the first half and not break out any trick plays. Michigan, Penn State. Oh, that's a first half under that you dance to the entire way. Full game under hits too, but Bud's really opened my eyes to that degen stuff when you get into the quarters and the half plays.
Yeah, Bud's really gone off brand. Like, it was a mainstream betting pod, and then Bud got like deep in the weeds. And hey, that's good. It's good. It's good to have the balance there.
So you said the day was less stressful. Take us inside. I mean, all the letters are in, right? Y'all aren't waiting on anybody else. Are y'all done?
We are. We're not done, but generally we're done. I mean, we got some more action.
Okay, nice.
Essentially before the week's out.
But you can talk about the class without committing an NCAA violation here on the Cover 3 podcast.
For the most part, I can. Yes.
So there's about 21 guys we could ask you about roughly.
Thereabouts. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So how'd it go? Tell us about it.
It went awesome. I mean, I think this is like, when we set out to build a class back around this time last year in January, this is what we had in mind. Like we got we got a class that looks like the teams we play, and it's we had to get longer, we had to get more athletic, we had to get bigger up front, particularly add some length and athleticism on the defensive line, and we did that. Like our secondary is like these guys are all like 6', 6'1", like long armed, like ball skills speedsters. And so, I mean, this was a huge day for us. And I mean, there's a lot of good energy in the building, a lot to build on. I think the commits and the class have really like rallied and circled the wagons to an extent to where like they really believe. So it's just a good springboard. And our roster is is in a really good place mentally. We're gonna have probably 6 to 8 guys in the spring practice as early enrollees, and so just a lot to build on, a lot to be excited about, and we're gonna get it going.
Obviously, you're excited about all these kids. Who is the dude that maybe behind the scenes y'all had to sweat down the stretch?
Well, Darren Agu took an official visit to Tennessee last weekend, and we never really felt like he was a guy that he was always great with us and never displayed any hesitation with us. But anytime a guy's visiting somewhere else, you gotta sweat it out a little bit. But when we got him back on campus last weekend, and by the way, he is as talented as anybody as a pass rusher in this class, in my opinion. And he just connected with this vision and this place and this roster and this class. And after the weekend, we didn't really worry about it too much. We had a couple guys that were getting a few sort of these like last minute phone calls from some of the kind of blue blood programs, pulling the old like, why don't you wait till February? Why don't you hold off type of stuff? And so we had to weather a little bit of that, but nothing too crazy. Jadis Richards, another one who we think is just a stud safety out of West Monroe that was once committed to TCU. He took a visit to Louisville last weekend. Again, we still felt good about it all along. And so we had confidence in our relationships, and that's ultimately how we're going to build it here is with the relationships and the people in the building. And we felt like we found the right guys that were connected to the right stuff here to where they weren't going to waver if you dangle a big stadium or something in front of them.
Do you have go ahead.
No, I was just looking at the list, Barton. Obviously, a lot of staffs feel the pressure to win immediately, and everybody wants to win. But it feels like in the portal era, if you're going to take a class that is this heavy on high schoolers, that has to say something about the administration's buy-in and understanding of the vision and challenge and timeline that it's going to take to get Vanderbilt where you want it to be.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, look, and we are gonna use the portal. We're never going to be a 15 get transfer class or something like that, but we are going to try to find the guys that are fits and supplement as we need to. But like ultimately, yeah, that's what's exciting about this is we're going to have an opportunity to build this the right way. We're going to have an opportunity to like get the right guys in the building and develop them. And so look, like we're building the foundation right now. This year was a foundational year, and next year we still got some heavy lifting to do. But if we get another class like this next year, and if we continue to get better this year, and if we continue to get these guys continue to buy into the offseason and the development within this place and the processes we got in place, man, like I'm just telling you guys, like this thing's going to get going. And eventually, Bud, you guys are going to finally give us some Vandy bumps. You guys are going to stop hating on our class.
Let's talk those Vandy bumps. I got Cooper and Chris and Wilt Fong right out there on the couches. What
a bunch of
other than
what we're talking about.
All right, I totally agree. I mean, it's a clown show. Who's the kid that obviously you may not want to be bumped up because then it could create even more competition. I know you guys crave competition, but flying under the radar is not bad. Now that they're in the boat, now they've signed. Yeah. Who's the kid you're like, that dude should have been higher?
Yeah, there's a few of them. So Davion Walker is a wide receiver out of Georgia. He had like 1,200 yards receiving and 20 touchdowns. Won a state championship for Warner Robins. I think that guy is like an elite wide receiver in this class. We think he's really special. There is I think the Jadis Richard kid that we landed. I mean, watch the dunk he had last night in basketball, where he just absolutely tomahawked on somebody and stood over him. Like that's the kind of guy that we think is going to make this place different. And then I'm just sort of looking at our board. Oh, Maurice Edwards. Like we spent the whole cycle believing that Maurice Edwards was going to get like every big time offer in the country and we'd have to fight off everyone in the country. And they never came. And I don't know why they never came. I'm fine with it. Right. That kid's a running back that's going to be like, I mean, he ran a 4.41 in our camp this summer, broad jump 10.5 at like 205 pounds with 10-inch hands. And like, he's just a different dude. Had like 10 yards of carry this year, rushing the football. So I mean, that's another one that we're really excited about.
God, Barton loves being able to get your multi-sport athletes.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
you know the drill. You know the recipe.
I'm a believer. Listen, you taught me, right? Like when I'm out here talking about, like when they have to get me to start writing about it, I take notes when I pick that up off a profile, because that's something that's significant. You get those good measurements, you get that track speed, you get somebody that can be 2-3 sport athlete. It's a special type of prospect right there, without a doubt.
Well, that's what's fun is right now, we're putting all those theories to the test. If we got no good players in the next, we're looking up in 3 years, and we got a bunch of guys running around that got no business being on the SEC field, then hey, I'll hang it up and
come back to the commentary podcast.
Yeah, hope y'all got a spot for me on the pod. But I think the recipe is going to work. I really do. I mean, I think this, like I just, just look at the guys we got this cycle, and look at the length. We got 6'6" guys across the board on the defensive line. We got a 6'6" tight end. We got 6 foot plus all over our secondary right now. We got a linebacker in Bryce Cowan that's from Bud's World down in Tallahassee.
Godby kid,
81-inch wingspan. I mean, I'm just telling you, like, we got a strength coach in Brandon Horgan that's as good as anyone in the country, and he's got some raw materials to work with that is going to be exciting. So, we'll see. We're putting the money where my mouth is, I guess.
So
the two things that changed. Oh, sorry, Chip.
Yeah, well, just like, can you take us? Like, do you have to fight for those opinions sometimes? I mean, you might have like a fully. Everyone loves talking about alignment. You might have a fully aligned vision. Everything behind what Clark wants to do, and everyone might be on the same board. But having been in these meetings and knowing, maybe talking to people from other staffs, or maybe people sharing those experiences, do you sometimes have to fight about what is the
there's the little guy. What's up, man?
Oh yeah, you got my shoe.
Nice.
Want to see Uncle Barton?
I mean, this pod has really gone downhill, man. We got,
we're getting so old, man.
I guess I used to have some kid issues from time to time.
You had Scout doing backflips off a bed.
That's right.
Got to see all kinds of good gymnastics there. But like, do you have to fight for those priorities sometimes to be able to, like, make the argument that it's what we should be targeting?
No, we fought for them up front in terms of just like creating the alignment, and like we're really fortunate that this coaching staff, like, I mean, I haven't had any sort of philosophical differences with the guys that we've got on staff, and part of that is by design, but part of it is Clark and I have are aligned philosophically, and so that hiring is going to kind of have reflect that in a way. So there's certainly some disagreements in the room from time to time, but they're much more subjective than they are like objectively like what we're looking for, which is obviously makes things a lot easier, and puts us in a position, like you said, from an alignment standpoint, where hey, we can keep this thing rolling.
We can't talk about any international prospects, correct? Not yet.
Well, we have 2 international prospects that went to high school in the States that have signs. Darren Agu, who's from Germany, and who's from London, and Linus Zunk, who's from Germany. So I will say, as a general look, Vanderbilt is in a place right now where we need to find value, right? Like, we're not going to just be like we won the 3 games in the 2 years before we got here. We won 2 games this year. Like, we understand there is a little bit of finding our lane, finding value, and there's value in guys that are haven't been playing football, or are not as finished products, a little bit more raw, a little bit, maybe they are overseas. If we can find value there, we'll find it and we'll take it. But ultimately, like, we're gonna ultimately bet on ourselves, and so we're gonna bet on length and athleticism and our coaches to get it done with them. And so we've certainly, I feel like, found that in this class, and a couple guys that have European international roots in that regard.
So since you took this job, 2 main things have changed in college football. One was we knew we had the portal, but they weren't immediately eligible. Like we thought it would get passed, and then it got kicked the can down the road, and then they finally, they passed it. The other thing was NIL. Now, I know you're not allowed to use NIL to influence prospects to come to a school officially. I don't know if you did see some other stuff go down today. I think Lane Kiffin's pretty openly talking about it, and Jimbo on the Feinbaum show just said we've had NIL for decades, just nobody talked about nothing.
Yep.
Which is a great quote. How much is this impacting the recruiting landscape behind the scenes?
I think I think it is affecting it, like with those really like, 5-star blue chip type guys a little bit more than just sort of across the board. I think, and just for the record, like, like this thing with the kid out of Florida State that went to Jackson State, Travis Hunter, man, that's great.
Yeah.
I continue even on this side of it now. I was for it on your side of it. Now I'm on this side of it. Like, that's great. All right. Kid's gonna make $1 million or whatever, and he's basically getting paid to go to Jackson State. So I'm good with that. Let me call up our donors and boosters and see if they can figure out a way to get that done here. That money's got to go somewhere. And so I got no issue with it. I mean, there's a lot of evolution still to go within it. And, there's a lot of sorting out and working through that people on my side of it have to figure out. But ultimately, like that's, we're at the point now, we got to find the right guys at Vanderbilt. We just got to get the right guys, and, we're not gonna get in bidding wars, but there may be a point where we can't get in those bidding wars. And even if it doesn't, however that looks, but we, right now it's really about, for us, just finding the right players and evaluating at a really high level. Cause those are the margins we're going to win with right now.
So you mentioned it being less stressful. I guess that, were text threads blowing up? Were y'all talking about it around the office as the news started to break? I guess maybe it was about 11 a.m. Eastern or so, and it's starting to get out that, like, hey, like Steve Wiltfong, being one of the first ones, like starting to hear that.
That was the first place I saw it, was Wiltfong. Yeah. Hey,
anybody, did that resonate for you? Like, were you all of a sudden you're like, oh wow? But it has. I don't know if he was someone that was on your radar to begin with, but it certainly feels like one of the biggest. It feels like one of the biggest midday dramas since Alex Collins and the who knows where the letter is type situation.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, it was absolutely. I mean, look, we were talking about it. That was the only national storyline that was being discussed in our office. We weren't talking about who was going where or anything like that. We didn't have any signing day shows on. No offense. We just you guys love seeing you, but we didn't necessarily, and yet that certainly made the water cooler discussion. I mean, I saw someone say like it's the biggest flip of all time or something. It is. Like, you can't get bigger than that. That is as big as it gets. And was that pretty much all y'all talked about all day? Was it one of those deals where it was just like such a big story that you guys just sort of tabled all other little storylines and just talked about that all day long?
Tully, right?
Yeah.
Tully was he was energetic about this one. So the rundown went. I think my next hit was supposed to be at like 1:30, and it got shifted to like 3:30. So we were lucky enough that Wiltfong. Like, I was hearing about the Jacksonville State side of this, and I'm like, hey, FSU's legit nervous. And then Wiltfong was very sure it was not Georgia, and we had known Bama was out for a couple weeks at least. I was like, dude, this might really be Jacksonville State. And we were lucky that Wiltfong could confirm it. At least there was legit smoke there. He got on the air at like 11-ish, I think, and was like, hey, this is something we're going to be monitoring throughout the day, I think. Now, maybe they just get a bunch of publicity out of it, or maybe this actually goes down. And then we were able to cut that into VOD, and Des did a good job of getting the story out. And then, we had a lunch break, and you had a YouTube chat just going nuts, like, more, and we got back on. And we talked about it for like another hour.
That's awesome. I mean,
it was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I get you guys. This like that's a producer's dream. That guy didn't have to work anymore the rest of the day. Just throw out Travis Hunter and let y'all work.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, listen, guys. I know that the Cover 3 Army doesn't want to listen to Vanderbilt talk all day long. and I got a bowling event that I got to go to. It's time to celebrate a little bit. But I tell you what, when we get, our first SEC win next fall, save a spot for me on the pod so I can jump back on.
Dude, you on an instant reaction pod.
Oh, late night
after
oat
the
milk
SEC win with the OMV. Come on,
OMV's gonna be flowing.
Let's go. Well, Barton, it's awesome to see you. Congratulations on being done with half of the 2022 class, or more than half, or whatever your numbers end up being. I know there's much more work to do, and recruiting never stops. And being a general manager and trying to guide this program to where it needs to be is an 24/7 job. So much love to the fam. Great to see you, and congratulations. Thanks for jumping in with us.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. And man, I sure miss the pod discussions, but I miss the Cover 3 Army, man. I miss the listeners. That's a good crowd. So treat them right, bud. Love them, care for them. Those are my people. So
they ask for every show.
Players that are making a buzz. Camp buzz. Camp buzz. Talking about players that are buzzing.
Hey, we have a guy on our staff that coached at Syracuse last year. I played him the Dino drop. He loved it. I don't know. Dino might have heard it by now. I'm gonna have to make sure Dino gets the drop sent to him at some point. But that's still the best.
I'm sure he loves it.
No doubt.
You guys don't think he's heard it?
He's got to have heard it.
We had him on social distance last year. Remember all the COVID interviews we were doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to send it to him if he's not heard it. That's awesome.
All right, Barton. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Buddy.